I remember one of the things being Ronnie Radke and it being like a big conversation where
Yeah,
you were trying to book loads of stuff, but he couldn't get into the country
yeah.
and like the whole visa thing.
We did the early days in Falling in Reverse. I've probably seen Falling in Reverse more times than I've seen most bands, and they still at this point haven't played in the UK. Obviously, I know that they're coming, which I'm very excited about, but we had to take press to see them.
Yeah.
And I saw them in America multiple times. I saw them in Europe, Paris, Belgium, Amsterdam, and we just had to keep taking people to see them because he couldn't get into the country and doing all those interviews. And it was a crazy time because I think they were so ahead of the curve, or he was so ahead of the
Yeah.
curve. And although I see a lot of the interviews that he does now online and he hates what he did in those early days, it was just cool
Yeah,
because
well,
someone was really like being a bit more tongue in cheek and taking the piss out of themselves, but
yeah.
also making stuff that was just pure bangers. And I can't wait. I can't wait for them to come to the UK and see them live. I'm very excited to go see that.
Yeah, I mean, it is gonna be pretty sick. Like, was that I mean, I sort of half remember, so I'm trying to sort of get it straight in my head, but I'm sure there was things like festivals that had booked them, on the assumption that they could get in, and you had booked lots of stuff around it that kept getting cancelled.
I don't think
Like,
there was always a possibility. There was always a maybe he
right,
can, I think was the thing, but if I don't really remember the correct terms of what happened or what it was, but I think there was a point when it got to the amount of time afterwards, and the technically he could enter the country, but it would maybe be up to the border person when he got there, if he could come in or not.
right.
I don't know if that is technically correct, but I know there was always a lot of like maybe, what if, possibilities, and we just never got there. And it's what I worked in Noise Cartel from 2011 to 2017, and it's now 2024. And only now is he coming to the UK for the first time. And I was so glad to see them sell out arenas
Yeah,
because I think there was such a huge gamble on, do people still want this?
yeah,
Because he hadn't been able to enter the country. Like, do people still want Falling in Reverse? And if anything, I think he's like quadrupled the popularity, and to see that the UK still very much wants him to come over with that product. And I know some people won't necessarily agree
yeah,
with me champion him coming over, but musicians, like, you have to support your
yeah,
musicians.
man.
And I know that's, he may have done some things that people don't agree with, but it's just great to see that a musician can actually make it happen and finally make it here to the UK.
Was it difficult to sort of navigate that at the time with the PR, knowing that it was controversial, or was it just a sort of everyone knows it's controversial, you like it or you don't?
I think most of the controversial stuff has come after that.
Okay.
If I'm correct in thinking, obviously people saying stuff on the internet, like, I don't think necessarily that was controversy at the beginning. I think a lot of people were like, okay, he's done his time. The music's good. It's, there was people that absolutely hated it and would not play ball
Yeah.
because they were like, it's not my thing. But yeah, I think most of the controversy that people have surrounding Ronnie Radke and Falling Reverse has probably come after my time working with them.
Is there any other bands, Noise Cartel, or in that time where there was significant things that you had to work on or things to overcome or
There was a couple of moments that I don't want to necessarily talk in depth about, but there was definitely situations where we'd, done massive promotional opportunities for albums or for shows, and then had to pull them because of allegations that
right.
may not have been true. And I don't think they were true in the end, or maybe they were, but we'd spent, money, so much money on making promotional opportunities happen, and then having to just pull it all and it never see the light of day because someone is in the video and they've made an allegation and things like that. And that's always difficult because, you want to make sure that everybody's heard in that situation, but you're also like, so much work down the drain. So, but I think for the most part, there was never anything massive, I don't think. I think it was more positive than anything. The fun
Yeah.
stuff that we got to do in promoting bands and finding unique ways to promote bands, that was what I really enjoyed.